Welcome to Badminton Weekly with me, Colette Wong. The Yonex Korea Open delivered some surprising results last week, with Kim Ga-yoon retaining the women's singles crown for the home nation, despite them missing world number one An Se-young at the Super 500 event. Kim secured her first title of 2024 after Wang Ziyi withdrew from the final with a knee injury. Lu Guangzhou also won his maiden Korea Open title as well as his first of the year by seeing off Li Jiahao in 3 games. It was China's only win of the tournament, and it came from an unlikely source, especially given top seed Xu Yiqi's unexpected quarterfinal exit. Jeff Toh delves into what could possibly be troubling the world number one, who came up short for a second straight week.
It has been a bit of a struggle for him, being the world number one since early in June this year. In the lead up towards the Paris Olympics, I definitely thought that he was hitting some good form, having won a Super 1000 title and 3 Super 750 titles since the start of 2024. But ever since losing in that quarterfinal to Vidisan in Paris quite convincingly, I felt that he's definitely been in a bit of a slump because a lot of people, including myself, had him as one of the gold medal favourites, and that kind of pressure can definitely affect your performance. We've always known that when Xu Yiqi is playing well, he's confident and wants to put the effort into it. He can beat anyone, anywhere, at any level of tournament. But I've always felt that sometimes it seems like he doesn't really want to be on court. When things aren't going his way, he tends to give me a little bit of a vibe like he doesn't really care that much. Now, this could be just the way he regulates his emotion on court so he doesn't get too angry or frustrated. But I do sometimes feel that he lacks that fire or that do anything to win mentality. And then once he gets into that negative mind frame, then he seems like he doesn't really want to push past it and just lets the match go. So when that happens, he tends to play a lot more passively. He doesn't really create those opportunities in the attacking shots that we know that he's so good at and we're used to seeing him do when he is playing at his best. I'd like to see him get a bit more fired up and try to push himself past those negative thoughts or that pressure, because if he can, that might be the spark to get him back to his top level. I'm not too surprised to see Xu Yiqi back straight away, and that's probably because he didn't really get that far. He made the quarterfinals, but he didn't really get as far as expected in the Paris Olympics. All players are a little bit different, so some find more relief and benefit in taking time away from the court, while some other players, they feel like they just need to get back out there and start competing again as their form of kind of resetting and recharging the batteries.
Like Shi, Kodai Naraoka too struggled to find success in what many considered a depleted men's singles field in both Japan and Korea. The Japanese shuttler has been unable to recapture his peak form from last year and remains without a title this year.
2024 hasn't been a great year for Naraoka in comparison to the previous, which had a silver medal at the World Championships in 2023. He's had some good performances, but hasn't been able to string those good performances too many times in succession. So it's been really up and down. I don't think it's really a matter of peaking too early. My theory of why this is happening is because of his rallying game style. With his type of game style, the conditions of the hole have a big impact on how well you do. So in a hole that's quite slow, it's quite favorable for him because he can keep the rally going and really tire out his opponents. But when the conditions are a little bit faster or there's more drift, I feel he struggles a little bit to win the points himself because he doesn't really have a big weapon like some of the other top men's singles players like Li Zijia with his smash, Victor Axelsen with his smash, Xu Yiqi with this smash as well. So it gets a little bit tricky for him when the playing conditions don't suit his rally game. If they were getting better results, then you could probably say it was a good decision to bounce back so soon after the Olympics. I think what's most important for them is that they're following their plan that's going to help them perform at their best in the tournaments that matter to them the most. It's always easy from the outside to look in and say, hey, they're not performing well, they're not getting good results. But in actual fact, they may be trying to peak for something much later on, such as the China Open or even the World Tour finals. Both are quite far away, which could mean that the last couple of tournaments were kind of more just like stepping stones for them to gradually get back to their top level. As a coach, I would be encouraging them to keep following the tournament plan and trust that they're making the right decisions based on all the information that they have. It's so hard to be perfect in this kind of thing because at the end of the day, they're all still human beings. They have their ups and downs, and that's just the nature of being a professional athlete.
World champions Seo and Chae and Chae sat out of the Korea Open, still feeling the after effects of the Olympic Games. A heartbreaking loss in the bronze medal match, losing in straight games to Yuta Watanabe and Arisa Higashino, saw the Korean pair narrowly miss out on the podium in Paris. Seo and Chae are now taking some time off to reflect not only on the past, but also their future together.
저는 누나랑 하면서 제가 뭐 어렸을 때부터 많이 이제 홍복을 잘 몰랐을 때이기도 하고 그래도 많은 도움을 받고 같이 성장을 해왔던 것 같고 그리고 저도 뭐 많이 배우고 제가 더 이렇게 큰 선수가 될 수 있게 누나가 옆에 서포터를 잘 해줬다고 생각을 하고 이제 그러면서 이제 뭐 이렇게 몇 년이 지나면서 그러면 같이 이제 뭔가 파트너로 이제 같이 서로 이제 도움을 주고 같이 이제 성장하고 뭔가 배우면서 더 저희가 올라갈 수 있도록 같이 파트너십이 더 잘 된 것 같아요. 우선 저희가 유정이 누나랑 이제 두 번째 올림픽을 또 나가게 돼서 너무 기분이 좋았고 그리고 그 전 올림픽보다 저희가 또 성장한 부분으로 이제 좀 더 잘할 수 있는 부분이 돼서 나가게 돼서 좀 달랐던 것 같아요. 그리고 뭐 아쉽게 메달은 따지 못했지만 그래도 저희가 할 수 있는 부분들을 다 했다고 생각을 하고 또 부족한 점을 또 채워서 또 앞으로 나아가면 된다고 생각합니다.
다음 올림픽은 그래도 4년 뒤잖아요. 근데 이제 제가 나이도 좀 있고 하다 보니까 이제 그 올림픽 승재랑 출전하는 올림픽은 이제 파리 올림픽이 마지막이 되지 않을까 하는 생각도 있어서 이제 그렇게 말을 한 건데 이렇게 제가 은퇴한다라는 말까지 이렇게 파장이 있을지는 몰랐어요. 이제 그래도 제가 나이가 있다 보니까 승재랑은 이제 마지막 서로가 올림픽은 마지막이지 않을까 생각해서 그렇게 얘기를 했던 것 같아요.
그거는 올해 한번 봐야 될 것 같아요. 올해 이제 마무리 돼 가면서 이제 뭐 코치님들이랑 얘기도 해보고 또 해봐야 될 것 같아요.
일단은 제가 2개를 계속 하고 있었는데 그래 아직 뭐 저희 팀 선생님들과 소통이 된 건 아니지만 그래도 제 개인적으로 생각할 때는 이제 승재도 늙어가고 있기 때문에 2개 뛰는 거는 무리이지 않을까라는 생각도 어느 정도 한편으로 하고 있어서 이제 올림픽을 제가 마지막이라고 생각했던 이유 중에 하나기도 하고 그래서 앞으로의 계획이 어떻게 될지 모르겠지만 이제 서서히 서로를 놓아줘야 할 때가 다가오지 않았나 제 개인적인 생각입니다.
Last week, we touched a little on the new Indonesian men's doubles combinations between Leo Raliccarnado and Bagas Maulana, as well as Muhammad Shohibul Fikri and Daniel Martin. Both pairs reached the semis in Japan in their first tournament and have now cemented their positions as here to stay, with another semi-final for Fikri and Martin, but also a maiden title for Carnado and Maulana in Korea. The latter defeating home favorites Kang Min-hyuk and Seo and Chae in 3 games in the final. Kirsty Gilmore tells us why she is super impressed with all 4 men.
I think what's impressed me, and I think what's impressed everyone that was following Japan Open and Korea Open, is their adaptability. I think with new pairings comes freshness, and that can come with also some miscommunications and some teething problems. But I think they've flown straight in, and they've taken all the excellent qualities of their individual games with these new partnerships. And they've found a groove so quickly. Whether it's kind of, I don't want to use the phrase beginner's luck because none of them are beginners, but you know, just with that new excitement of a new pairing and the freshness, I think they've taken that and they've run with it, and they've not let either of these new pairings, they've not let it hold them back, or there's not been nervousness. There's been a kind of freedom to it. I think within the Indonesian training system, they switch around partners quite often, so I don't think this is like the first time either Fernando and Milana and Fikri and Martin will have played together. I think they will have, had a little shot in training. But I think it just speaks to the individual qualities of each of the players and the confidence they have with their own skills. And I think they've settled into the partnerships very well. And for Fernando and Milana to get to semi-final in Japan, first of all, excellent. Same with Fikri and Martin. But then for Fernando and Milana to go one better and to only drop one set in the final when it came to playing Kang and Seo, that's just an unbelievable start to a partnership that I and a lot of people I think are going to be very excited about going forward. Indonesian players tend to bring a kind of relaxed nature and a real skillful array to their matches and to their games, and I think that we've got no shortage of that within these two new men's doubles pairs. I think they've paired them appropriately with their kind of preferred front court player and a preferred back court player. They've kind of just switched those around, so the puzzle pieces fit well. And again, I think with this new excitement to the partnerships, I don't want to say that the old partnerships were stale, because it was two top 20 players, top 15 pairs. So, I think it shows you how high the standards of Indonesian badminton are, that's kind of not enough success for them. I would also say that I don't know the answer to this. I've not managed to reach out to any Indonesian players or anyone in the federation, but I don't know if it was a result of a disappointing Olympic Games for the whole of Indonesian badminton. I think they probably underperformed, especially probably a special disappointments in men's doubles and men's singles. I don't know if these partnerships were decided on before Olympic Games and there would have been a change anyway, or if it was a post-games decision. I'm not sure on that. But I think, I think the way that they've done it and that they've just stormed into these two tournaments, I think the coaches will be patting themselves on the back right about now. It seems like a fairly good decision from them so far.
Malaysians Seo and Chae and Yi Wei clinched their first Super 500 title with a come-from-behind victory over China's Guo and Li at the Korea Open. The world number 9s bounced back in the best possible way after a quarterfinal exit in Japan the week before. BWF commentator Jeevan Selvanathan, who witnessed the milestone moment in Mokpo, believes growth, ambition and patience were the driving factors in their success.
This week at the Korea Open, I was really impressed with the Malaysian doubles. Chen Tangji and Toh Wei especially. I thought that there are very few doubles pairs that turn up, especially in Malaysia, who have the ambition to be better. They're always saying they're going to be better, but then actually deliver on the stage. And I think this tournament, they really cemented their position as the top mixed doubles pair. They beat Goh Sun Huat and Siobhan Lai, but through their performances, they've shown a great level of maturity. In the semi-finals against the China pair, they had to come back from a lot of deficits and they had to play a different type of game. It wasn't just full-on aggression for them. They had to actually really, bide their time and wait for their opportunities, but they played their positions well. Chen Tangji was very powerful at the back and Toh Wei dominated the net. She was coming in at various points during the match. She came in and turned the tide of the match. So with this performance and the Olympic experience that they had getting to the quarterfinals, I'm expecting them to go a lot further in the second half of the BWF World Tour season.
That's all we have for you today. Next up on the HSBC BWF World Tour is Taipei, and it's going to be an emotional ride for a couple of the top players from Chinese Taipei. Be sure to tune in next week when we bring you the biggest stories to come out of the Yonex Taipei Open 2024. In the meantime, you can stay up to date with the latest news by downloading the BWF app, Badminton for You. And as always, let us know your thoughts, comments, and questions on our Facebook and YouTube pages. Bye for now.